Okay, this is another easy assignment. For this one, you're just gonna figure out what pages and what kind of buttons you're gonna have in your menu, and just the site structure. How is it gonna look? So, um, use I think Glue Maps probably the best, easiest tool to create a visual sitemap showing the page structure and links of your site. I think we could find examples. Lucid chart. No, I want an actual example. Okay, so here's an example. You got your main page, use cases, company, products, team, support, login, and then each of those will have sub menus, I guess, or sub pages that you could go to from that page. So if you go to the use cases, you can, maybe in the use cases it'll have a home page for use cases, but from there you could click on SAT or SaaS, that stands for Software as a Service, online businesses, creators, e-commerce. So for each use case, they might have separate pages, and this doesn't have to be separate pages. This could be just sections within that page. Doesn't really matter. I mean, if you wanted, a section could have been a separate page instead of, you scroll to it. But the main point of this is to figure out how you're going to structure it, where you're going to go to find what information, right? So an obvious one, you go to, um, well, get help, let's say, or frequently asked questions. You'll have menu, list, get started, footer. That would be different sections, I guess. That wouldn't be separate pages. But anyways, let's look at a different one. That one's not the greatest. Okay, here's a shopping one, I think. See if we could zoom in on that. Right, you got your home page, you got your products, your cart, account, other pages. From products, you can go to categories. Um, Again, it could be a separate page or it could be a drop down that says categories, and then from the categories, you choose collections, featured, or clearance, and then that takes you to a separate page, or it takes you to the same page, just scrolls down to a different section, either collection section or featured or clearance. And if you go to the cart, this is a good example. If you go to the cart, usually from the cart you go to your order summary. From the order summary, you go to your shipping method, and then from there you go to the payment methods and then the shipping. And these look like they're. This one looks like it was built with Glue Maps, which is the tool I'm telling you guys to use. Alright, you got your home page. Let's say it's a shopping cart, we call it David's, I don't know, watches. You got your products, account, about, or maybe I'll put the account there and about there. But from your products, then you might have subcategories. Maybe you have watches, but you also sell, I don't know, belts. And maybe from the watches, you have a category for what do you call it if it's movement if it's like mechanical as opposed to electric watch. Maybe you have a section for that. Actually, same level page, sub page. I guess it would be a sub page. So same level page would be belts, and then sub page for watches would be um, mechanical. And what is that crystal? Digital. I'm trying to think of the crystal that, because electric watches are pretty cool. I mean, there's like a vibrating crystal in there. Just, I think this is talking about the lens. No, yeah, I'm not talking about the watch's lens, but that's cool. They use crystals. Um, electric watch. My God, what is the name of that crystal? I'm sorry, I'm spending time on this, but now I have to find out. Vibrating crystal. Quartz. Okay, quartz. Oh, there it is. That thing vibrates. Anyways, yeah, so digital. Maybe there's, quartz under digital, and maybe they have. What's a hybrid? Okay, then. Um, and also, sorry, this is. I keep putting it in the wrong place. Same level as mechanical would be digital. And then under digital, you might have quartz and I don't know, hybrid, let's say. But you get the idea, right? And then on the account page, you might have, um, I don't know, orders, account details, and again, I put it in the wrong place. Orders, account details, and also on the same level would be um, subpage. Gotta zoom out. So orders, account details, profile. Right, that's usually the pages you might see under account. But this tells you the structure of this site, and you could switch this from map view to matrix view, because if you're on map view, it might eventually get too wide, and you have the option of exporting this. First, you save it. Once you save it, you also get this link you could share with me. If I click the link, I'll see your glue map. But problem with that is I don't know how long it actually gets saved there. After a while, that link expires. So just to be safe, export a PNG or a PDF. Um, yeah, if you're having trouble exporting PDF, just at least get the link. But yeah, if you export a PDF and it's getting super long, maybe switch to matrix view before you export it. There's also outline view, but that one just gets really tall. So I would go with matrix or map, whichever fits nicer. Um, I'll put this here in the link. Any questions on that? Okay. Um, the next thing after the sitemap is gonna be wireframes, but I don't know. A lot of people end up skipping the wireframes and going straight to the mockup. So a wireframe just shows what the website will look like using just boxes, sort of like these. Like a box showing there might be a picture here, some text here, maybe a big title here or whatever. If you're gonna be using Squarespace, you don't have much choice there with the wireframes, since you're gonna pick a template. You're not really gonna be designing it yourself. Um, in that case, I don't know, just pick a template or try to mimic the template with your wireframes. But yeah, if you don't feel like doing the wireframes and you want to skip to the mockup, you could do that as well. A mockup is basically the website, but not actually built in HTML um, or using one of those website builders. It's just a picture of it done in Photoshop or Figma or Adobe XD or Illustrator, whatever you feel comfortable using. Mockup is just a fake preview of the site, but it looks real. I don't know why these are like this presented. I guess just to make it look nicer, to have a better presentation. But mockup is just usually just a flat view of the site, maybe a PDF showing what it's going to look like. Anyways, enough talking for today. Let's just, for the rest of class, I'm just going to put season 2 episode. I'll put episode 1 before we get into episode 2. Episode 1's probably like 3 minutes, just introduces the contestants, I guess. And it's going to go over their portfolios. Um, and I'm not going to record that part, obviously. So I'll pause the recording here. So yeah, let's explore some more of these templates. I want to find the one that I'm pretty sure I've seen that exact same template somewhere. The one where she um, hovered over the link and it changed the background. Um, see, I'm trying to remember how to change a template. So we have, okay, so in my Squarespace here, I've already got a project called WST157. If I go to the home page, how do I see all my websites? Um, maybe I gotta click that, yeah. So yeah, I've got 3 of them here. This one was the one with the big text. That was a pretty cool template. I think I would use this if I was gonna use Squarespace. This is cool. I think I just like the the colors and the giant text. This one, this one's cool too. but let's figure out how to change it. Utilities, website tools, custom CSS. That's cool. This allows you to add custom CSS. I wonder how that works. Because you would need to know, okay, let's say I want to put an outline around these circles. How do we figure that out? We'd have to inspect it to see what tags these circles are using. When I inspect it, it's just an image tag, but doesn't have any class names attached to it. It's inside a div called list item media inner prefade. Anyways, I'll just target the image tag and see if it actually works. Border 5 pixel solid green. Let's see if that actually, I think it did. Let's make that even thicker. Let's say 50 pixels. Yeah, you can see it's trying to add the border, but it's kind of weird since it has a border radius. Well, something else has the border radius. It's obviously not the image. Let's give the image the border radius. 50% or greater will make it a circle, I think. That's weird. So maybe it's the div surrounding the image that's actually cropping the image. Yeah, it is. It's this div here. List item media inner. So instead of targeting the image, I'll target list item media inner. Make sure there's a dot in front of that. And yeah, there you go. It's getting stretched probably because the border is adding to the overall size of this circle. So we just add object fit, or sorry, not object fit, box sizing, border box. That doesn't do it. How about, since we're adding 50 pixels, let me decrease that to like 20 or 10. Okay, 20 pixels. That means we're adding 20 pixels to the width and the height. Since we're adding to both, though, I would expect it to just scale normally. But what happens if I change the width 200 pixels, the height to 200 pixels? Okay, that's weird. We're not able to change the height, probably because we need to be more specific. So I'll add important. That did change it, but made it even taller. Strange. Anyways, you can add your own CSS. Okay, just maybe need to take some more time, figure out which tags which elements you're targeting. But that's good. Okay, but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to figure out how to change the template. So it wasn't under website tools. I don't think it's in any of these options here. System pages. No. Edit. No, if we go to edit, it's just gonna let us edit the content. Um, what's this? Site styles. That's just for the styles. Right. I have no idea how to change the template. Might have to Google it. Squarespace change template. Okay, you can use your site's built-in style settings to adjust this design. Well, starting over, if you want more drastic change, you can switch to a different template. In version 7.0, we're using version 7.1, it looks like. It's not possible to change templates on version 7.1 site. In version 7.0, you can switch template to get access to different. Okay, so it looks like it's not possible. Well, got a straightforward answer at least. You can't switch the template. Means you probably just have to delete the site and start from scratch. And I don't know what this one was. Another template I tried. This one looks cool too. Let's just switch one of these, or delete one and create a new one. Let's create a new one. Let's say portfolio. Do they have portfolio? Just choose design. Sell on demand, send invoice, promote event, collect donuts, showcase work expertise. How would you like to get started? Build custom template, choose professionally designed template. I think we found out that these are more customizable, these are less customizable, but they're just better, more finished templates. Let me preview this. This is sort of like what the template I was looking for. The one where you hover over and it just switches the background. Really not difficult to do with HTML and CSS if you want to do it from scratch. All of these templates, they look really nice and everything, but they're very simple. For example, let me try to recreate that same effect that you just saw. I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna create a let's see, sample website. Gonna open this with Visual Studio Code, and I'll create let's create a CSS folder and an images folder, not inside the CSS folder. Make sure that you're not putting the images in the CSS. And we need a index.html. Inside the CSS folder, we need styles. I'll go with SCSS. I know some of you might not be familiar with SCSS, but it's just more useful CSS. I can just nest things, which main reason why I use it. Just helps organize things better. And of course I have to click watch SAS for that to take effect, so I need to click that button, which will start the live SAS compiler, which I have installed not this one, this one. I got this installed, so that's gonna change the SCSS to regular CSS. Anyways, we had a site that had a list, so we'll create a list. Let's just do UL for each. Inside the list, we have, let's just say, 3 list items. What was this example like? We preview it again. Did I lose it? Should be easy to spot. Anyways, okay, forget it. I remember what it was like. I just want to have it open so we could compare it, but disappeared on me. But let's say it's a website about my artwork, right? We're gonna do a portfolio type site, and maybe this is a link to drawings. Maybe this one is a link to design, or just graphic design. Wait, this is gonna be href. It's gonna be a separate page, so I'll just say um, design.html, and this could be illustrations instead of drawings, just to be more specific. And then here we could say, I don't know, photography. .html. Okay, so here we'll say design or graphic design. Photography. And we wanted to basically, when I hover over drawings, graphic design, or photography, I want to change the background of the body. Now, in order to do that, depends how you want to do it. We could use JavaScript to do it, which will be more straightforward, less limitations. If we want to do this with pure CSS, we have to follow some rules, like the background image has to be a sibling of I guess maybe it could be a sibling of the UL. I'm not sure if that would be possible. Or does it have to be a sibling of the link itself? So in the styles, I would want to say something like li hover background so in order for it to work like this, the whatever the background is would have to be a sibling of the list item. If we said ul li hover, Not sure if that would work. I want to try it real quick. Let's say I put a div here with a class of background, and we give that background a width and a height. Just so we could see it. Otherwise, empty div is gonna have a 0 height. You're not gonna see it. And let's give it a default background image. But let's grab a couple random images. What am I looking at here? Oh, Squarespace. Let's go to Unsplash. Let's put that in the images folder. We'll just call it photo 1 AVIF. That's some strange format or new format. AVIF instead of JPEG, instead of WebP, which is the other new one. Grab this one too. Call this one photo 2. And I don't know, photo 3. So let's find out if we're able to actually change the background image. Let's say the default background image is images or / images photo 1. Div class background, watching, save, dot background width 200, height 200, background image. Why are we not seeing the image yet? Let's figure that out. Oh, because I haven't linked the style sheet to this. Duh. So this is going to be css slash styles.css. Okay, there's the image. Let's make sure the background size is visible. So background size cover. Okay, let's see if we'll be able to switch the design by hovering over the li. So which li are we gonna hover over? Let's just use the nth child selector, li colon nth dash child 2 hover. If I hover over the second button, I want to change the background image to photo 2. See if that works. I guess not. It would work if, see, this is what I mean by you have to follow certain rules. It would only work if this was actually a sibling of the list item. So if it was inside of that unordered list, if it was there, a sibling as in it's in the same, it has the same parent, then maybe it'll work. Yeah. But if you use JavaScript, you don't have to worry about limitations like that. This could be wherever you want. And it's, I mean, I guess it is possible. It'll be really weird, the setup of this. You would want to make this background like, first of all, make it width of 100 VW, viewport width, and 100 VH. and you'd want to make it position absolute and top 0 and left 0 and the z-index -1 to put it behind everything. So then technically you could do it that way. I don't know if that's a proper way to do something like that. Right, and we could say if we do the second or the third image, and we change to photo 3. And if you wanna, well, I don't know if we'd be able to transition that though. How do we add a transition to it? Well, let's try simple transition, see if that does anything. Transition all 1 second, I don't know, linear. Okay, that's weird. Since I'm transitioning all, the scale of the image is also changing. That's kind of weird. I mean, it's cool. I don't see why not. That's kind of nice. Background size cover is making this image like really blown up, because this image was a tall image. So when you say background size cover, it's basically trying to fill the whole background or the whole screen with the image, and the screen is kind of like this. So it basically fills the width of it and then just cuts off the rest. That's why it's like this. So maybe choose a wider image for all the pictures so that doesn't happen. It's also causing this weird like warping. But we could say instead of transition all, maybe we could just say transition background image. Oh, I guess that's still, I mean, that's really the only thing that's changing. So and it still does that weird thing. Let's try background size contain. Yeah, it's still same thing. Contain with background repeat turned off, so no repeat. Anyways, I'm glad at least it does transition. Like you are able to transition a background image changing. So the URL changing from photo 2 to photo 3. I'm glad it is built in that it will actually transition, because yeah, otherwise we would have to like figure some other weird thing out. Oops. And I'm pretty sure if we chose images that were the same exact size, so if we go to like Photoshop and make each of these the same exact size, you might not see any warping. It'll just fade from one picture to the other. So I'll just create an image that's 1920 by 1080. View 100%. Okay, And let's try to just fit all three images in that size. Photo 1, 2, and 3, let me reveal in Explorer. Oh, these are AVIF images. I wonder if Photoshop lets me bring them in. It does. I guess it's a raw image format, so I'm opening up Camera Raw instead of Photoshop. We can just get started. Just click OK. And we'll just fit this here. Open this one. Fit this here as well. I don't know why it's not snapping, but whatever. Let's just place it there. This one too. Okay. So now I'm just gonna save each image. Say File, Export. We'll do a PNG or a JPEG. Probably smaller file size. Okay, export a JPEG. Export. Let's put it in the same folder. Where did I put it? There it is. Say image 1. And technically, I think this was the third one, so I'll call it image 3. Then I'll hide that layer. Export the next one. As image 2. Hide that one. Export the next one. As image 3. Or sorry, image 1. Okay, and then instead of using these AVIF images, I'll use the JPEGs in my HTML or in my CSS. So background image, images, I called it image1.jpg. So image1.jpg, image 2, image 3. Oops, 3. Let's see if that still warps. And now that they're the same size, we could do background size cover. What's up with this one? Oh, oops, I forgot to put the, or I actually left out the forward slash. We got this weird thing happening where if I, oh, okay, I see what's going on. These list items, you can't see it right now, but here, if I say li background color red, you see that they actually stretch all the way here. So I'm actually hovering over them right now. That's why it's changing. So I think easy way to stop that from happening is either give them a width, or if you don't want to give them a width because you don't know how long the text is going to be, just make it display inline block And if you still want them to be on separate lines, add a little BR after these two. Right, so we got this one, this one, this one. Um, by default, we should be seeing image 1. Although, wait, we are seeing image 1 if I don't click anything, and if I hover over this, we see this one. Why is this one showing me image 1 again? Oh, because I forgot to maybe change. I didn't forget. Image 1 first, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nth child 3, hover, we should see. Oh. Yeah, I mean, if we hover over this, we should see image 3. But we're not. So what's wrong with image 3? I don't know. Anyways, point is it's not that hard to do. You use pure CSS. The transition is a little too slow. I wouldn't do 1 second. I'll do like 0.2 seconds or something. And I really want to figure out why it's not showing the third image. Maybe we need to be specific here, and let's add one more here. Say if we hover the first child, then we'll see image 1. And let me not put anything here. Oh, but then it'll just disappear. Something's broken about image 3. I don't know what it is. One, two, three. Or it's actually the second one that we're not seeing. It's the one in the pool that's not showing up. The scuba diver, I mean. Why isn't that one showing? Let me inspect. Is it because it's not the third child? What makes sense here? The first one works. The second one shows us this. This one shows us nothing. I see. It's we're gonna have to adjust. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. 4 maybe. No. 2. So weird. 1 shows us 1, 2 shows us images, image 2. Oh, well, it doesn't. It shows us the car, which is image 3. So, what's going on? If, okay, I see. Nth child, 1, 2, 3. I mean, I kind of get what's going on, but why is it happening? This is the first child, this is the second child, this is the third child. There's no other children of the UL. I mean, there's this fourth thing that we added in here. I mean, but that can't be the. That's the fourth child, though. I'm not really. It shouldn't be bugging any of these. I don't think there's a 0 child. 1, 2, 3. Like 1, 2, 3. Strange. I'm gonna delete these other pictures just to get them out of the way, so there's no confusion. 3 shows when I go over 2. 1 shows when I go over. Oh, you know what happened? I see exactly what's happening. It's the break tag. Since I added these break tags, this is child 1. This is child 2 now. This is child 3. This is 4. And this is actually 5. So what we need to do is do 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, 5. Weird problem. It's just because of those break tags. Technically, they're children of the unordered list now since I added them there. But I would still. I'd rather do this with JavaScript just to not have all this weird stuff happening. Anyways, um, let's talk about the wireframes I want you guys to do. It's, I mean, you could get started on it, I guess. I don't know how many more days we have in this class. Maybe we should assign that at the same time I assigned the second assignment. But tools I would use, the best tools for wireframes really are Figma and Adobe XD. Now, Adobe XD, I kind of have a problem with because it's a very buggy Adobe product. The most buggy out of all the Adobe things that I've used. Like sometimes the fonts don't load, or it takes forever for the fonts to load, so your design looks all messed up. Things are out of place, and you think it's because you actually moved it, but it's because some of the fonts are not the font that they're supposed to be, so they're not exactly the same size as they're supposed to be, so everything gets kind of jumbled around. It's very annoying, and I don't even know what like how to force it to refresh. Here's some wireframes I did for a different class for I think this was the last project in CD 210, I think. But it's wireframes for showing different screens for like a survey type thing. It's trying to collect information. It's very similar to Figma, and Figma is free, so might as well just use Figma. Figma is probably less buggy, but basically it's got tools to draw out your. First of all, you could choose your web your artboard size if you click the artboard tool. Actually, I don't know if it's called artboard tool. It is artboard, and you could pick mobile sizes, desktop sizes, tablet, social media. Right now, this is web 1920 by 1080, just most common computer monitor size. So you would assume this is like a full screen of the website. You might start drawing the mock-up of it. Like maybe first start out, if you don't have a logo yet, just block out where the logo would be. Right, and maybe you have your menu items next to that. Um, maybe you have a big featured image down here. Maybe you divided the image with a horizontal or a diagonal line like this. I don't know how you would do that in HTML. I guess yeah, you could do that. You could just put a giant picture in the background that's already photoshopped this way or whatever with the line through it, or you could use like clipping masks. But say that's just the design, and I'm gonna have some text over here. Oops. Okay, we actually have to type something in there, otherwise it disappears. So I'm heading. Let's make that a lot bigger. Change that to like 50. No, that's 100. Why did it disappear? That was weird. Okay. See, this is what I mean by it's buggy. Like, why is it disappearing? As soon as I like click a different tool, it disappears. Let's make that red. Could be because it's under a box, but no. Yeah, again, very buggy Adobe product. Heading. Yeah, okay. Why are you disappearing? Let's just switch to Figma again because I hate using buggy software. But Figma is very similar. Okay, so Figma is free for a starter. You get 3 collaborative design files, unlimited personal drafts, basic file inspection, and Figma editor. So these other ones, I don't know if you're gonna use it professionally a lot. Maybe your company would have a subscription for it or something. But let's just use the free plan. And we got some. If you were in the CZ200 class, we used it for this, creating our home page for our assignments. I know some of you seen this before, but I'll create a new one. Unless I ran out of free projects. Oh no, create. No, where's the place we create a new project? Add account, design, import. Maybe I have to delete one of them. Remove or delete. What's this? Not found. Let's delete that one too. Well, it disappeared. It's not there anymore. Okay, so how do I create a new one? Create a new design file in here. Okay. Alright, so it starts out blank. You gotta click the frame tool. It's like the artboard tool. It will give you sizes to choose. And I'll pick desktop. 1920 by 1080. I don't know why that size specifically is not here. You think desktop. I guess all MacBooks have like weird sizes. Which one's 1920 by 1080? They don't have it. They just skip to 1440 to 1024. Um, yeah. You could also choose a custom size. You just start with one of these and change the width and the height right here. 1920, 1080. Okay, so we have the same thing we had in Adobe XD. And again, I could put a little box here as a placeholder for where my logo might be. And my menu buttons. And just like in Adobe XD, it'll help you like line things up nicely. And where we got stuck on XD was after I created a big box here for a big picture with a line through it. Let's draw a line. I want to add some text here. Big heading. To change the font size of that to 50, maybe 100. And below that some smaller text. Change the font size of that. You could use lorem ipsum for your um, wireframes. Adobe Illustrator has lorem ipsum built in when you draw a text box. I don't know why they don't have it here. Let's just go to lorem and just generate however much text you need. Say we need a little bit of a small paragraph, like this much. Right, and then some big picture there. Maybe I'll move these here. Then you could show some of the other pages where you could stretch this down and show what's after the heading. Maybe here we have something like, I don't know, some like features or something. Let's center this to the page and center these or line them up nicely. You could use the distribute if you don't think it's distributed perfectly, but these smart guides will help you. It shows how far apart they are, and it snaps to even numbers. Right, so maybe we have some, I don't know, features or testimonials or something, and we have some text here. Again, just grab some lorem ipsum. Maybe want that a little bit bigger. Why is that so small? It's probably because I'm zoomed out all the way. It's actually not that small. If we click that little play button on the top right, we could preview it and see it's really not small. It's pretty big text. It's just that you forget sometimes when you're zoomed out like that. So let's center that. And just so it doesn't say the same gibberish, let's write some other gibberish in there. And just be familiar with some of these shortcuts I'm using. Holding the Alt button, moving something will copy it. Holding Control and scrolling your mouse wheel will zoom in and out. If you're using a Mac, you already know how to zoom in and out with your mouse. On the Windows with the mouse wheel, it's Control and mouse wheel. And if you ever want to pan around, press the space bar. Okay, what would come after this? Some testimonials, maybe, I don't know, like a short sentence here. And if you want to be a designer about it, um, I notice I always crab things, but when I see websites that have like big open spaces, it looks impressive to me. So I'm trying to start doing that more. Lots of white space. And then maybe we have our footer at the bottom, and you could show us the footer structure. I don't know, just random stuff that you want to add there. I don't know what's gonna go there, but trying to show. Maybe it's your links that you have here. You also have them here. right? And you can also show different pages. Maybe when you click this button, it takes you to some other page, and this other page has a big picture here at the center, like this. Um, just to show that there's an image here, I'll maybe put an X. Change the color of this. Right, and like I said, you could skip the gray boxes and put actual pictures and actual text and make it look like your actual website instead of doing wireframes. But you need the mock-up. Actually, you need one or the other. I don't care if you substitute this for a mock-up or you do this instead of a mock-up. Obviously this is easier, but I mean, if you want, you could do the mock-up. And let's say I click this button, I want it to take me to this page. You can click on prototype, and then you could drag like this to here. And if you click the play button, say I click this, it takes me to the other page. And you could do the same thing in Adobe XD. Um, you could also add transitions in Adobe XD. I don't know if this lets you do it. Probably does. You just have to click the line and interactions. Scroll with parent. No, it's not it. Navigate to on click. Maybe you can't add animations in this one, like transitions. What's this? Resources. No, that's not it. Oh, instant dissolve smart animate. Let's do like a push. Yeah, so now it slides. And this is why I say use Figma or Adobe XD, because they have those transition stuff. You could like interact with it, show how it would work in the actual production. Right? Otherwise, you could just use Photoshop or Illustrator to draw these boxes. Wouldn't really matter. But this has tools for like sharing, prototyping, so showing what buttons clicking does. Anyways, that's it for today. Let me give you guys sign out code. Any questions? Oh, this one? I rather do this with JavaScript than give you that. I'll do both versions. I'll do one with JavaScript. Um, you're welcome. Actually, let me see how quickly I could do it with JavaScript. Let's do a duplicate of this. Copy, paste. Rename that to index 2. Index 2, I'll use styles 2, different style sheet. So we start fresh. Right, so JavaScript doesn't give you those weird limitations, so you could structure your HTML properly. Because doing this, putting breaks in a unordered list is not recommended. I think it's probably frowned upon. So if we could avoid that with JavaScript, just do it the proper way, we could also avoid doing this and just change the body's background instead of creating a random div as a sibling of these guys. And you'd have to add your JavaScript in a script tag here. Teach JavaScript in one of my other classes. I forget what the code is for it. WST 156 maybe. But anyways, with JavaScript you could grab HTML elements with query selector. Query selector lets you select the same way you select in CSS, like using dot background to select a class, or li to select the element, or hashtag to select the ID. So you could say like let button 1 equal document dot query selector, and then in here you would say li, and I wanted the first one. I could either give it a class, like class equals button 1, and then say dot button 1. Now button 1 is this. Or I could do, if I didn't put it in a class, I could say li colon s dash child 1 to get the first one. And I probably want to get the actual link inside, not the whole li. So li and child 1 a. So that would be button 1. And then I could just duplicate that to get button 2 and 3. Now it should work. 1, 2, and 3. Child 1 is this. Child 2 is that. Child 3 is that. And we're getting the a inside each of those. And we're setting these to these variables. Button 1, 2, and 3. And then you can say button 1 dot add event listener, click, and then you write functions. Functions let you do things. There's certain rules to the way you write them, but I'm just quickly gonna show you how to do this. There's other ways you don't have to write function like that. I could just do that as well. I could say body dot style, or I don't think you could say body. For these three, I used this to grab them, but for the body, you don't have to. It's already available. Say document dot body dot style dot background image equals URL, say image 1, oops, dot JPEG. Right, so if I click button 1, I added a click event listener. So anytime I click button 1, it's going to change the body's style. Style grabs the style sheet or the CSS. And I'm going to change the background image property. And I have to write background image in camel case, which is with the capital I instead of how you normally would do it in CSS. Because in JavaScript, a minus means something. It's a mathematical operator, so you have to actually change the way you name your elements or your properties. So background image equals URL image1. Well, we have to say images slash image1. And I can just copy that a couple times. Do the same thing for 2 and 3. And I think that should work. Oh, I'm adding a click instead of a hover. So let's do hover. Uh-oh. Inspect. Let's see if there's anything wrong. Usually it tells you right here. I refuse to apply style from... Oh, okay. It's because we don't have a styles2.css. Let's just leave that out. What else? It's the worst when you don't get a error, because then you have to guess what's wrong with it. And I don't know if event listener hover is available. I'm going to change it back to click. But when I click on them, they take me to another page. So I need to stop that from happening. So I could say add this E here for the event and say E dot prevent default. But now it's getting complicated, so I have to add curly brackets. So I'm sorry, it's not as simple as I thought it would be, but whenever you have a single line, something in a function, you could just write it like this. But if you have more things happening, multiple steps, you have to have curly brackets if you write it this way. Right, and it doesn't have to be on a separate line like this. It's just more readable. Right, so first we do e.prevent default to stop it from actually clicking and going to the next page. I'm just doing this to check if it works. Because I'm not 100% sure if you could do event listener hover. And it's still not working, so it's probably something else wrong. Let's inspect. Oh, could be because we didn't give the background image. Well, let me inspect it. The body is what I'm trying to change the background of, and nothing's happening to it. So maybe we can't just, let's see, document dot body. It is actually grabbing the body. Document dot body dot style dot background image. Change that to URL images / image1.jpg. It's not changing it. Anyways, I'll show you next time. I don't have time to figure out what the problem is with this right now. Should have been pretty straightforward though. Just unexpected bug. Okay, let me just give you the sign out. Spare you that.